The Land Management Corporation. We've reported on it before. It's been the subject of a parliamentary inquiry, and not all the evidence was all that good about the Land Management Corporation, so some changes were made even as the inquiry was doing its digging. Its minister is Patrick Conlon. Here's how it describes itself. The Land Management Corporation is a key economic agency of the Government of South Australia, managing within a commercial framework a significant portfolio of land assets on behalf of the state government. Translated into English, that means its transactions and holdings are in the billions of dollars, and it controls land owned by the state government, owned by us, in plainer English. The school ground down the road, land all over Adelaide, on its outskirts, in every town and every settlement from the West Australian border to the other side of Mount Gambier, Crown land is managed, much of it by the LMC. It's one of the biggest landholder developers in the state. It is the state. It's a state within a state. On its board is Chairman Mike Turlett, who sits on a lot of boards in Adelaide. There's Alexandra Madden from BHP Billiton, an ex-Santos employee, consultant or two very senior public servants, and property developer Theo Maris. The LMC is involved in the St Clair land swap, the redevelopment of the Clipsal site. The LMC threw the shipwrights and slipways out of publicly owned Port Adelaide and sanctioned, encouraged and ordered the rape of Port Adelaide's century-old maritime history. In December last year, Treasurer Kevin Foleys spoke about extensive community consultation over the latest McLaren Wharf development there. He said it would happen early this year. It might have passed you by. When public land is sold to developers, it's the Land Management Corporation which decides how much to sell and to which developers, and of course, at what price. Then there are private developments on private land, like the one at Buckland Park, which, because of its major development status, involves a separate minister, Planning Minister Paul Holloway. Buckland Park will be a $2 billion satellite city, 32 kilometres from Adelaide, 30,000 inhabitants in 12,000 new homes. It's a Walker Corporation development, and the developer is Lang Walker, the country's 13th richest citizen. He's just had one little sailing ship built for $50 million, and he didn't need to sell his $30 million 52-metre cruiser to pay for it, nor any other one of the half-dozen yachts he owns. Has the Premier or the Infrastructure Minister Patrick Conlon or Treasurer Kevin Foleys, 1, ever been on Lang Walker's yacht? If so, was this in Sydney Harbour, and when was this? 2, have they ever enjoyed Mr Walker's hospitality or been a beneficiary of his largesse? We put those questions to the Minister. The Premier was the first to respond. No, unequivocal. Pat Conlon said he'd done no more than step on the boat in Sydney Harbour. A quick squiz around, he said. A bit of a sticky, really. That's all it was. The Treasurer? Yes, said his Press Secretary yesterday. He's enjoyed Walker's hospitality also in Sydney. Meanwhile, back at the LMC, it wants over $2 million, plus GST, from the Port Adelaide Enfield Council for less than a hectare of land. The LMC is selling the grounds of the now closed Port Adelaide Primary School. Council wants it for open space. There isn't much of that in the area. The last LMC school block sale in the area at Taparoo was for 5 times as much land at a quarter of the price. Now it wants $2.27 million for a block sandwiched between a residential care unit on one side and a care centre for people suffering mental illness on the other. The LMC's charter used to be that it had to maximise returns to government. It seems that that's still the case.